Navigating the U.S. immigration system can be difficult for many. It often results in immigrants spending years trying to become legal here in Indiana. News 8's CAMILA Fernandez speaks with a local attorney for today's Inside Story.
A lot of people wonder, why don't more immigrants come to the United States legally or become a citizen? In reality, many of these people are living in limbo. I sat down with an attorney to break down this process.
Unfortunately, most of the processes in which you become a legal permanent resident take some time.
And immigration attorney Angela Joseph says in some cases that process can take 20 years or just a few years if they meet certain requirements. She says there are 3 general ways to become a legal resident. The first is by family, like a spouse or a child in the country who is living here legally. The second is by an employer who will sponsor them. And last, for humanitarian reasons, like fear of persecution. But if it's a child, what is the process?
Perhaps there's somebody here, an extended relative or a friend that's willing to be their guardian. If that's the case, that guardian, once that's established through the state courts, they have the ability to petition for a special immigrant juvenile visa.
But even though they are not considered legal, they are expected to pay taxes. Joseph says this happens even if they don't have a social security number. Instead, the IRS issues individual taxpayer identification numbers, which allows them to legally file tax returns. She adds they should depend on an attorney and not rumors to navigate the immigration system.
A veces no buscamos la ayuda necesaria y por error pues firmamos esa salida.
This man's life took a turn for the worst after leaving the United States within a certain period of time without that knowledge, and now he has a deportation order. He says there are a lot of immigrants who don't seek the right kind of help. Now his kids, who are U.S. citizens, are under a lot of stress.
Es mucho estrés para una familia.
Sí. Demasiado.
He tells me despite the circumstances they face here, they're hanging on to hope. Coming up tomorrow, we take a look at how a lot of undocumented immigrants choose not to report crimes and what IMPD is doing to change that. Reporting in Indianapolis, CAMILA Fernandez, WISH TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.